Welcome back to the MANN channel. Alright, so in this week's video, I'm going to give a light review of my 2020 F250 that you see behind me. I've now had it since mid-July, and now we're at the end of September. And I've towed my boat and my camper for half the summer back and forth, basically every weekend. So I've gotten quite a bit of experience with it. So now I do feel like I can give my review of how well I think it tows my trailers, which is the main reason why I decided to go with a 3/4 ton as opposed to a 1/2 ton. The truck that I had before this was a 2017 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali, and that truck did a great job while I had it. I was actually happy with how it pulled my 2018 24 MXZ, which the total weight of the trailer and the boat I believe was somewhere in the 8,000s on that. But because that was a triple axle trailer, I was not experiencing any sway with that trailer, and I think the tongue weight on that trailer was a lot more appropriate for my 1/2 ton. But it still was reaching the limits of my GMC Sierra 1500, as the towing capacity for that truck was 9,600 pounds. So my new 2020 F250 has a towing capacity of 15,000 pounds. And I can definitely tell you that pulling the boat with this truck definitely makes it seem like there's less of a trailer behind me. So that was a little bit of an upgrade there, although I didn't really need it for the boat, but it may help because my next boat might be a little heavier. So the main reason I bought this truck is because we upgraded our travel trailer or our camper this year, and it is a 38-foot camper. I'm pretty sure that when it's loaded up with water and our gear, it's somewhere around 10,000 pounds. So my GMC Sierra 1500 just definitely did not seem like it was quite the appropriate truck for towing that. I was able to do it. I definitely did it for half the summer, and I towed it all the way from Cheyenne, Wyoming to Billings, Montana. And I think the biggest complaint I would have there is the fact that if I got up to 65 miles per hour or higher, it would start swaying quite a bit. And if it was really windy, it would make it even worse. Now the difference with my 2020 F250 in towing that camper is that it definitely does not sway quite as easy. It did not completely eliminate sway, and I think the only way that you would completely eliminate sway with a trailer that has such a heavy tongue weight is if you got sway control bars or load leveling bars. But I only tow my camper a long distance twice a year, and that's 2 hours down at the beginning of the season and then 2 hours back at the end of the season. Otherwise, I'm only towing it about 6 miles back and forth in it, and I can go slow if I need to. I'm not too worried about getting load leveling bars. When I towed at home, it was a pretty windy day, and I was able to go between 65 and 70, and I was fairly comfortable. And actually the speed limit was 70 miles per hour. I actually spent the last half of the summer using the tow hitch that I already had, which actually sat the camper a little bit higher, and I think that was pushing the rear end of my truck down more than it probably should. So I just recently purchased the appropriate hitch setup for it, which I believe should help, and we are going camping this weekend for one last little camping trip just for fun. And I'll be able to test that out and see how that works. And one of the big things I'm happy about with my new 2020 F250 is the fact that I am not over my towing capacity, because I believe I was slightly over my towing capacity with my GMC 1500, and I just want that peace of mind that I know that it is not beyond my towing capacity and that my truck is rated to handle the weight of that trailer. Some other things about my F250, just to kind of give you some comparisons to my GMC 1500. I definitely notice a difference in how smooth it rides, and I also notice a difference in how snappy it is. And what I mean there is that I don't think that you're ever going to find a 3/4 ton or above that is as smooth as a 1/2 ton. So obviously I do miss that a little bit, but it's really not that bad. And I kind of decided a while back that I should not worry about that so much, because I use about 90% of the miles that I put on my trucks to tow. So in that sense, I shouldn't worry so much about how smooth the ride is when I'm not towing. And what I mean by snappy is my 1500 with the 6.2 liter in it, compared to this F250 with the 7.3 liter in it. I would say that that my 1500 felt a little bit more like a hot rod in comparison. You know, I could get up to speed a little faster. Definitely felt like it sat you back in your seat a little bit more. Now, obviously, it wasn't a hot rod, but as far as trucks go, it was very hot rod-like. But my F250 is definitely not quite as snappy. Doesn't get up to speed quite as fast, but it's still very, very strong. And I'm very happy with it. It definitely has a little bit of extra torque. You can tell that when I'm taking off from a stop, it gets up and goes with the trailer a little bit better than my 1500 did. So again, I only use my truck without towing about 10% of the time, you know, so I really shouldn't care about how quickly it gets up to speed when I'm not towing. Another note is I definitely think that the 10-speed transmission on this truck compared to the 8-speed transmission on my GMC 1500 is definitely nicer. You don't feel it shifting as often. My GMC 1500 had this weird thing where it would do a hard shift from first gear to second, and it was even harder when it would shift down. And I always wondered, you know, and it did that from when it was brand new, so it was always weird because I've had transmissions go out on me, and that's what they feel like when they start going out on me. So that's one of those things that's a lot nicer about this 10-speed transmission. Now I know GMC went to a 10-speed transmission as well, so it could be just as nice, but it is nice in this truck compared to my last truck. So those are kind of my main points about what I've liked about my new towing truck, and I've been quite happy with my F250. It was a little bit sad to let my 1500 go. I really liked that truck. I really liked the colors. But in the end, you know, I needed to get something that could handle a little bit more towing capacity. All right, so that's it for this week's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any thoughts on this video or ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you can be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next week.